Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, I have a few questions on the budget. As I was reviewing the budget of the DILG, I saw some items that I want to get some updates. But before that, let me commend the DILG for being efficient in 2022. We've been conducting budget hearings of different departments and reaching an obligation rate of 94% and a disbursement rate of 90% is quite commendable. Those are
Very good compared to some agencies. Huwag na natin banggitin yung purihin na lang natin yung magagaling. Huwag na natin banggitin yung mga kulelat.
Correct. That's why I commend the DILG, of course, under the leadership of Secretary Abalos for spending efficiently and wisely. And it's the obligation rate of 94% and disbursement rate of 90% is a reflection of efficient management by the good secretary. I'll go into the different items in the. I saw in the locally funded projects, and there are some locally funded projects for 2024 in the OSEC, and the OSEC will receive approximately about 7 billion pesos. I just want to get an update on the 911 emergency services. I think this is a dream for all local government units as well as enforcement units to have a singular emergency number. It's not only a dream for government but also a dream for our constituents because they don't have to memorize many numbers and it's easy to dial 911 to receive police service, emergency medical service, even local government services. So I just want to get an update on the 911 emergency service because this is part of the locally funded project. And what is the goal of the department insofar as expanding or scaling up the 911 emergency services?
Can I have, Mr. Chairperson, can I have Yusek Lord answer this thing?
Yes, please, Yusek.
But right now we are coordinating with the other agencies like the DICT to really further improve on these services of the 911. Yusek Lord, please.
Go ahead, sir.
Magandang umaga po, Mr. Senator. For the emergency 911 po, our principal concern with it po is is the budget of the service. For fiscal year 2023, we requested a proposed budget of 280 million, but the budget that's granted was only 26 million. Same for fiscal year 2024, 306 million was requested, but only 26 million was granted. Currently, sir, the 911 service is receiving about 60,000 calls per day, for which we ideally would have a shift of about 60 personnel per shift. But right now, sir, we only have the budget for 11 personnel per shift. So basically, we need a six-fold increase in our manpower to properly address the volume of calls that we are receiving. Normally, each call to the 911 service should be directed to a local call center. Currently, there are about 22 local call centers set up and funded by various LGUs across the country. Now, if there is no local call center, then the call will be directed to the overall the national headquarters of the 911 service. So, since there are only around 22 call centers worldwide, that's why there are about 60,000 calls coming in per day. And right now, that volume is simply too great for the existing manpower of the central headquarters. So we in the department would like to appeal for an increase in the budget in order to be able to handle the challenges of this imposed by this service. Thank you, Mr. Senator.
Thank you, Yusek Villanueva. Just basic questions. Is the goal to devolve the services to the local government units and then just have one number? Because getting the calls is one thing, no? But responding is the most important. How fast can we respond from the time we get the call? I think that's the most important. And we can only do that if the local governments are involved in this 911 activity. And as you mentioned earlier, 11 personnel per shift. Obviously, it's not enough for a nationwide activity, no? Let alone for a local activity. I think 11 is also not enough. So the budget of 26 million is obviously it's a no-brainer. It's not gonna do anything significant for 911. So aside from expanding or aside from allocating more budget, moving forward, are we going to involve the local government units in this endeavor? And then what is the ultimate plan? Are we going to see a US-style 911? And when do we see that? I think everyone wants a US-style 911. I think that's an aspiration for all of us, especially in the realm of peace and order. But when do we see that? How much budget do we need? What type of structure do we need to put in place? Those details, can you provide us and give us an update on those?
Thank you, Senator. Yes, Senator, the ultimate dream is the US-style setup where we have LGUs each with their own local 911 center, because the decentralized setup, similar to what is happening now in the US, would be the only practical way really to address this on a national scale. And then the role of the national 911, as it is in the US, would be to enforce standards and training and ensure that each local center complies with standards. And in fact, that is what we have been doing with respect to the roughly 22 911 local centers that have already been set up. So going forward, should Congress and the good Senate give us the budget that we hope we can use to carry forward these plans, we hope to bring that to fruition, Mr. Senator, to have the complete national network of 911 services under a common standard and under a common training, po.
You said, how far are we in reaching that US-style 911? Are we, how far are we, and when do we reach that level of capability?
Well, considering po that there are so far only 22 local call centers set up, we are still quite far away. I think our initial estimate is that to start gaining some real headway, maybe around 30% of the LGUs would have to establish their own local call center for it to really sink into the public consciousness as a viable emergency system.
Submit to us a roadmap. No? I personally support this. I see the value of this. Like I said, no, what's important here is not only receiving and processing the calls, but also sending the message to the policeman on the street, to the ambulance in the hospital, to the tanod in the barangay. That is the response time that we need to shorten in order for our constituents to get the service that they need at that point in time. So just submit to us a roadmap. How much do you need to in order to reach your goal of a US-style 911? What is the timetable of the rollout? How much allocation? How much budget do you need to in order to reach that? No, just submit to the committee so that we'll have an idea on how is this going to be rolled out, and when do we see something more fruitful? No, like I said, no, the department is being efficiently managed in terms of budgetary utilization. We want to see also emergency calls and response time reduce by efficient management as well. No? So just submit to us a roadmap so we'll be guided accordingly.
We would be happy to submit this, Mr. Senator.
Another issue, Mr. Chair, that I want to get an update on is the number of drug-free barangays. This became quite popular, no, during the last administration, in which there's a count on how